today and the ones that need to go to a folks after us. We are live. Okay, we are live. We are back. And we do not have Senator Brock yet. And I will go back to where I started, which is we can, Senator Beck, I know you got an appointment. Have you had a chance to follow up on that? It's only been a couple.
I have, and it's all good.
Okay, so
I've been able to check online.
we could do that.
Oh, yeah, now it's, I gave it to Charlotte. It was, yeah, oh yeah, I knew the guy, Dave Seneker.
Do you want to move? Did we move and tell us a little bit about him and what's he doing?
I have one too.
And you have
I
one
just want to
too.
make sure I have the name of the board.
Am I missing something? Was I supposed to have one?
No.
How many of these, right?
I may have given
I'm in
some
the same
out
boat
like
you are.
day one, but no, we haven't gotten much of it.
Okay.
I spread it out. I lost track.
Well, no, I try and do them if they're in your district or
Yeah,
as close as I can come to your district.
I would move that we confirm the appointment of David Seneker to be a member of the State Infrastructure Bank Board for a term from and including March 1st, 2025 to February 20th, 2030. I have known David Snedeker for at least 20 years. He's the he is now the executive director of NVDA, which is the Regional Economic Development and Planning Agency in the 3-county area in the Northeast. He lives in Barton. He's a great member of his community. He's very professional and he's very focused on his work. He'll be great.
Okay. And this is the Infrastructure Bond Bank.
That's correct.
So Rebecca has moved that we appoint David Henniker as to be a member of Barton. That said St. John's area.
He works in St. Johnsburg. He lives in Barton.
Okay. To be a member of the State Infrastructure Bond Bank. Is there any further discussion? If not, I guess we need to take a roll call.
Do we need a second on the nomination?
Yeah,
A second.
all right. So we have second, Senator Goulart. Do you have a? Oh, he's the clerk. That,
I'll be the clerk. I'll be the clerk.
Do you want to be the clerk?
no,
No, you don't. Be the clerk.
I'm used to the clerk
Yeah,
sitting
bro.
here. The clerk sat here for 20
You
years.
just want the title.
He was also the vice chair. I'm just used to looking there.
Clerk.
Okay, so we have the nomination. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Sure. Start with,
Mix it up.
oh, he's also red. Interesting. Senator Hardy,
Yes.
Senator Beck,
Yes.
Senator Chittenden,
Yes.
Senator Goulart,
Yes.
Senator Meadows, yes, Senator Brock, Senator Cummings.
Yes.
Do you want to leave it open for Randy or?
I don't generally leave
Okay,
votes open.
6-0 is lost.
Good.
So should I do mine now too?
Yes,
Okay, I have the appointment of Ted Foster to the Vermont Economic Development Authority, or VEDA. And I would move approval, and then I give my report, yes?
Yeah.
Do I do that? Okay. To appoint him as a member of VEDA for June 30th. July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2030. It's a 6-year term. And it was sent last July. And Ted is a current member of VEDA and he's being reappointed. He lives in New Haven and is a retired dairy farmer. He is part of the Foster Brothers Farm, which is a large dairy farm in in Middlebury, and they are also, he's a co-founder, he and his brother, of Vermont Ag Products, natural ag products, which is Voodoo, which you may have used, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
the composted.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He, so he retired from dairy farming and has done a ton of stuff in the community. The foster family is just incredibly active in the community. I actually know his wife better because she was a school board chair before me. And she and I have bonded over school board stuff. But he's been done a lot of stuff with Farm Bureau, ag policy, Champlain Valley Farm Coalition and all of that stuff. But he has also done work on agriculture economics.
I say a very successful business.
He's a very successful
It
business.
goes by the amount I buy.
Yes, and he's also he was an officer in the United States Army and been on lots of different boards, and and he's also just a really sweet guy. And coincidentally, given our previous conversation, his son is the chair of the Green Mountain Care Board.
Oh.
Right, yeah. So anyway, Ted's a super great guy, and I highly recommend that.
So Senator Hardy has moved that we approve the appointment of Ted Foster to the Vermont Economic Development Authority Board, right? Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, no, I can't do that. That's right.
Yeah, whoa.
You're taking his job.
Yeah.
I've always done it that way, especially if it's gonna be unanimous, but call a roll.
And I'll second the motion.
It was okay to go that way in the city council.
Senator Gulick,
Yes, please.
Senator Beck.
Yes.
Senator Chittenden.
Yes.
Senator Meadows, yes. Senator Hardy.
Yes.
Senator Brock. Senator Cummings.
Yes,
601.
okay.
Is it safe to say the reporter's you and the reporter Scott took previous?
Yeah, I think these will be voted on as.
This will be a whole grouping.
I'm pretty sure this.
Yeah, these are not commissioners, they're just board members.
Yeah,
On the other hand, Bill Schuldice, are we ready to vote on that one? That will be a report. It will be my report, but I seem to have lost half my.
we still have quorum.
Yes,
Senator
we
Brock.
have. He is at a meeting, that's all I know, he sent me a note.
Okay.
He did not specify.
So we go get it, but we don't know where
We
he
don't
is.
know where it is.
So we do need to tell upstairs that. you
Yes,
voted on.
We do, and I told them I'd know within 10 minutes if we were gonna do 113.
But we're settled with 13.
The one, oh no, 113 we're settled on, it's 51, we were waiting.
Yeah, I was hoping that we'd get Senator Brock back, because I know that. he's
Okay,
been interested
so we
in
can
that.
put that up. Do we want to make a motion? And I will report it. And if you weren't here, Bill Schuldice's bio information, known the family for years. They own a country store in Montpelier. The sister has taken over the family lobbying business, Heather. Grew up in Montpelier. I'm sure it was his house that the city sewer backed up in. He has said, yeah, he had to go up and do all the.
I almost spit out my soda when you said that. Does that qualify for the tax commissioner?
No, but he has been on the Vermont Economic Development Authority, the Community Development Block Grant, Snowy House Historic Preservation, Vermont Business Roundtable, Vermont Chamber of Commerce, that's only a half. He was the CEO of the Vermont Teddy Bear, he has been the Orton Family Foundation. He has a lot of business experience.
I noticed 2:15 is when we're scheduled to take up S12 and we have Michelle and Chris
Yes,
here.
and so if we could do this in like 30 seconds.
But ask your two committee members, do you want to go forward with a commissioner nomination 502?
I am hoping that by the time we get the paper out and ready, that somebody will show back in here. If not, no, we are going forward.
If you're looking for a motion, I'm ready to make it. I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move to,
Point
yeah.
the
appoint
shoulders
commission
of
positions.
Stowe. All right. You need the commissioner of tax of the Department of Taxes. Okay, is there further discussion?
No one else second the motion.
Okay. You are on
Second.
roll.
There we
I am. She loves to second motion.
No, I have been told you don't need seconds.
I know,
but I-
you always did it.
Okay. Would you call the roll?
Sure can. Senator Goodley,
Yes.
Senator Hardy,
Yes.
Senator Chittenden,
Yes.
Senator Meadows, yes, Senator Beck. Senator Brock. Senator Cummings.
Yes,
I like the John Bloomer pause. It's good.
that's 5-0.
Should we ring our bells?
Okay, and I will.
5-0.
report that one unless somebody else would. Okay,
If you want me to. but-
no, I've known the family. This is what I. Okay. There goes my doctor. Sorry.
We're looking for Senator Hashim, or do you want to?
We can just go. I have a feeling Senator she may be busy like I run minutes, but okay. But this is an act of stealing criminal history records, and Michelle is with us. Chris,
Can I start it? Another violence.
I didn't either.
Okay, Michelle, we're assuming there's some kind of fee someplace in here somewhere. so-
Yes, so for the record, Michelle Childs, Office of Legislative Counsel, and Senate Judiciary has been working hard, as I'm sure one of your members can tell you, for the last couple months on a criminal history record sealing bill. And there is one tiny fee in existing law that is not amended in here, and we do have Chris here who can talk to you about. I don't think you did a note because there's not much to do a note on. I will say that do you want me to just give you just a little overview, kind of idea of it? It is 37 pages long and it gets deep in the weeds on procedure, but essentially, I think all of you know that there's an existing process where people can petition the court to either seal or expunge a criminal history record. And that's under current law, and you've had that for several years. It's really kind of, I'll just be honest, it is just a hodgepodge, kind of a hot mess, that's kind of difficult for people. It's, it was developed over years with a lot of horse trading.
I was
and-
gonna say, it's been adjusted.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's no comment on the policy. It's more that just, people find it a little difficult to, work with. And those are people that are in the system, not to mention the people who are looking to actually try to have a record seal or expansion. So there's been a lot of proposals out over the last probably 5 years to kind of try to come up with something that's a little simpler, a little easier for people to administer, and to also expand it so that there are more people who could avail themselves of a process. And so in general, what it does is the bill increases the number of qualifying crimes that you can petition to seal. They are nonviolent crimes. They are mostly misdemeanors. But there are some misdemeanors that are accepted, anything that's like has any kind of aspect of violence, like a violation of a protection order or, those types of things. And then there are a subset of felonies, but small group of felonies. Most felonies are not eligible, but there are some felonies that are eligible, mostly relating to property crimes and drug offenses. So no kind of person crimes are eligible. And then there's a kind of a schedule, depending on what type of qualifying crime it is. someone would have to complete their sentence, whatever that is, and then wait a certain amount of time to be able to petition the court to see if they could have their record sealed. And then there's certain conditions under there about, essentially they have to, completed all the terms, paid any restitution if they had to, and the state doesn't object. So the state is always going to be the respondent in that case. So they're always notified when someone is filed for a petition. And it might be the AG's office, it might be the state's attorney, depending on whoever prosecuted that case. And so they have the ability to go before the court and say, we think sealing is really inappropriate in this circumstance. And then the court can make a decision. And so this bill, in terms of what kind of impact it's going to have, it does increase the number of qualifying crimes. So I think, arguably over time, you're going to see more people petitioning for this. It creates, but there may be some savings in the sense that for the most part, you're leaving expungement for a few things like deferred sentences, but you're mostly moving everything to sealing. And generally people don't like the expungement part. They feel as though it's more laborious and more problematic. So the fee portion comes in is that there is a special fund that's currently in the chapter for sealing and expungement in Title 13. And the only folks who are required to pay that fee now are people who are looking to petition to seal or expunge a DUI 1. Not sure the policy or whatever, but that's been in there for a long time. These folks would still be able to petition. They would have to wait 10 years from the date of completion of their DUI 1 misdemeanor before they'd be eligible. So that doesn't, so there's not really much change there. But that's the only reason I think it came here. Like I was kind of surprised it came here, but there is one fee. It's not being amended. It's not being changed.
There's a fee in it anyway.
Right. So, right.
Okay.
Why is it just DUI 1?
Actually, it's interesting. So when Bryn was a member of the judiciary team, she used to do all the sealing and expungement. But then when she left and we brought on a new attorney, Ben, Eric and I just kind of took some of that portfolio so we wouldn't have a new person. Right. So I've just been doing it for the last 4 years. And I don't actually know why that policy choice was made at the time.
Was there discussion for maybe Senator Meadows? Was it their discussion of either adding other ones that were required a fee or just taking the fee away for that one at all, or just the fee?
Judiciary didn't talk about the fee at all.
Where does the money go? I mean, a lot of these fees go to victims restitution or.
And how much money does?
We got ourselves.
Chris may know that. Are you going to talk about that? Yes.
Sure, I can consider it. Chris from Joint Fiscal, while Michelle pulls up the language, the fee is $90 for the DUI sealing applications. It goes into the Criminal History Record Sealing Special Fund in 13 BSA 7610. And that, according to the Chief Superior Judge, there's just over $26,000 in this fund. It's a really small fund. And it's not clear at this point whether the parameters for the distribution of that money have fully been established. It doesn't go to a specific, it's not like a victim service or anything. I'm looking at the statute now and the fund, I'm reading verbatim. This fund shall be available to the Office of the Court Administrator, the Department of States Attorneys and Sheriffs, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the Vermont Crime Information Center to offset the administrative costs of sealing such records. So this is a fund that would, pay for internal administrative costs. It's not clear whether or to what extent this money is really being utilized to offset those costs. And it's like a super, super tiny fund. Every once in a while, this committee gets a bill and you're like, why did this come to finance? And I think that was our first reaction when we saw it, because nothing is really being changed here about the fee or the fund at all. So there's really nothing. I spoke to the chair earlier this week. There's really nothing we could put in a fiscal note because we can't really predict what's going to happen in the future with this bill.
But whatever it is, unless we have a huge rash of DUI ones,
Sure.
X number of years ago.
Who are all applying to have their their records sealed and paying the $90 fee. Judiciary bills are really tricky for us a lot of times because we can't predict people's behavior. So there's really not much I can put in a note. So that's why I was here to sort of just give you that context.
But going by past record, we are changing.
There's no change here to the fee or to the fund,
Yeah, I would be de minimis if any.
if anything. Yeah.
Can we send it?
I have the bill, but where in the bill is this?
It's in sec one in section 7610, criminal history record sealing special fund.
And what page is that? 33.
Sorry, but I don't know.
Oh, is that-
And is this, if I may ask, is the DUI one, I'm not on judiciary, so, DUI one, are there other equivalent crimes that don't pay a fee? I guess I'm asking because it seems weird that we would just ask for one fee. So I'm like, maybe we should just get rid of this fee unless there's a reason for this fee. Or charge a fee for other people. Like, it doesn't seem, but I don't know enough about.
So the list of qualifying offenses is pretty big. It's essentially all misdemeanors.
Okay,
Except, and then there's a list of things that are exempt that bar misdemeanors, and DUI is one of them.
When did this fee get established?
No, I'm sorry, not DUI. DUI is eligible, but you have a longer waiting period.
okay.
It was 2019 was when the fund was set up,
Oh,
I believe so.
so not that long ago. I can't blame.
And they haven't
Well,
used it. And so that's
it's
one
only
I know.
$2,600.
Yeah.
They probably don't know it's there. We could do this and recommend that the judiciary committee consider either removing this or putting everybody else on it. Is there any fee for any of the other expungements?
Not under this chapter, no.
Did you all discuss expanding this to raise a little more money for people trying to expunge their records?
No, we didn't even talk about fees.
This is a footnote.
We do need money and people, this does have area costs. Are we considering here to expand this to all the non-exempt?
Not if we've got 15 minutes to get this.
I mean, if I may, I will just say, and while I didn't work on the 2019 bill, generally, it's been kind of the policy of the Judiciary Committee to look at when people are trying to seal or expunge or try to kind of clear their record for employment purposes, things like that. As they have talked often about not wanting a fee to be a barrier for someone to do that.
Right.
Again, I don't want to speak for them, but in terms of the kind of the history around this, that's always something that they're discussing in terms of people's access to justice and do filing fees.
So there's $2,600 in.
Around 26,000
Wow.
cumulatively.
I mean,
But has anybody, is it being drawn down or is it just sitting there?
I don't know that for sure.
Your point, regardless of any means testing of any sort, it's just, are these expungements the most, I think you were insinuating that they're often for those that are in justice involved and they might have less access to resources, but do we have any reason to validate that impression?
I can't speak to that at this point as to why that policy decision was made.
It's one of them. When we got a complaint from a grandmother who had to have a criminal background check in order to chaperone her grandson's school trip. And she had a possession of marijuana charge when she was in college 40 years earlier. And she couldn't be a chaperone on the school bus. And I remember doing that expungement. That was when I was on judiciary and was one. And it was the drug charges when you were 18 or 19 that started this kind of process. And it's gone on. But if that fee went on as recently as 2019, I'm a little more hesitant to expunge it, but we might
You make my understanding, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we could suggest that the Judiciary Committee through our emissary take a look at that and decide if they want to keep it or expand it.
Yeah, I guess I'm in the opposite end that Senator Chittenden is. If it's the only one of all of the many, many, many charges that requires a fee, seems to me, and the fund is tiny after so many years that we just get rid of that fee, unless there's some, I haven't heard a justification
Yeah,
for it. If there's some justification for it, if the money's being used for something that's related, then I could, but right now, based on the information I have, it seems like it was a random one that was created and then either people decided not to
Yeah.
create new feeds or just forgot about this one. And do we have to vote this today? Can we wait and get more
No.
information?
it's 31 and this came to us so we could wait and maybe you can ask the judiciary, tell them we'd be very happy to get rid of it. My concern right now is we know what the balance is, but we don't know if
Yeah.
the criminal records people have been drawing money out.
The court address.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm looking at the special fund report as of the end of FY 24. There were not expenses coming out of the fund, but in that fiscal year, to your point, I would suggest that if the committee was interested in learning more about this, that we bring in the board administrator or somebody from the
Okay,
commissioner.
so we will get the court administrator in. And it's not Pat anymore.
It's Terry Corsones.
Yeah, of course,
Terry Corsones.
okay.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm still bringing up cookie.
And tell the master, we're looking at the expungement fee on DUI ones. What's it for? Has it been used? And would they be horribly upset if we got rid of it?
Can I ask a question as a newbie to this committee, and I'm on a steep learning curve? Is this vote for small fees like this typically pro forma, or do we always ask questions about the existence of the fee and
Either.
all over
All
the
over.
map? Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
It's our duty to ask
Yeah,
questions
That's
about.
what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I felt as though
Yeah.
this was just a pre-forma stop on the way to wherever.
if
it's
they
going.
said
I
it
know.
went to the Victims Restitution Fund, we would have said motion and it's out of here.
Got it.
Yeah, we just don't have enough information, but
But
anything
if-
that affects the revenues of.
If we don't know, if there's only one expungement that's paying it, and we're expunging dozens of things. And it doesn't seem to be actively being used, then
Right, it could be a long conversation. I
Yes.
mean, if this is a roadblock to people having their records sealed, then I mean, that's a whole
yeah,
can of worms. potentially.
we will ask the court administrator and then we will deliberate.
Okay.
And make a deliberate decision.
So we have another week, because it's one of those bills that we want to try to get a
We'll
little.
get it out of there in 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Fred.
All right.
Thank you.
Possible vote. All right. We are now. No, we are in 10.
Well, then
What? We
Aspect
have 1:30. Senator Beck, do you happen to know where Senator?
I have no idea where Senator Brockman's.
Okay.
I always just blamed it on his being the majority leader, but he isn't the majority leader. So I don't know where he is.
I don't think, yeah, but I mean, I wanted to wait for him because I know he cares about the bill, but if
Yeah.
we don't need him, then let's
'Cause the
just
bill's
do
gotta
it so we don't
come out.
have to sit and rattle.
Let's take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
Senator Beck is